Yo, yo, yo. John here from Hot Take Hockey. Welcome back, guys, to the live stream on the Hockey Podcast Network. It's John here, as I said. And yeah, I'm excited for this US-Austria game. It's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I think for the US, they've been, the best team for goals differential right now, I believe, or at least in this group. And I think for the US, there's some players that have stepped up that weren't really expected to step up in a certain way. There's also certain players in this tournament from the U.S. that have been more quiet, like a Matthew Nyes, Toronto Maple Leafs prospect. We haven't seen as much from him in the last couple of games as we did maybe in the previous tournament or what we saw in the Olympics. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens here. But again, if you're in the comments, guys, jump in. Jacob throwing hot takes already right off the bat. What's going on, Jacob? What's going on, front row? What's up, Rainiel? What's up, Salty? What's up, Adam? Good to see you guys in the chat. And yeah, Mazer is going off. I think he had, was it 2 goals last game? Definitely been buzzing. So we'll pull up the scoreboard here. There we go. Yeah, let's see if this works. All right, huge. All right, beauty. Let me know if you guys can see that all right. I think you should be able to. Yeah, what's up, Toxic? Your prediction is 5-3 US wins. All right, we'll see. Yeah, I'm hoping Matty Nyes gets a couple tonight. He's been quiet, so I'm expecting him to break out, get at least one tonight, hopefully. I just got home a little while ago, so probably 20 minutes ago. But if you guys have any predictions on who's going to score in this game, drop it in the comments. We'll get it up on the screen. Who do you think is going to score maybe the first goal, or who do you think is going to score the most goals, or just a take on who you think is going to score in this game? But yeah, we'll see. I might stream on my own channel for the Canada game, but honestly, guys, I'm so tired. Like this schedule I got going right now is killing me. Just obviously, I love live streams and covering the hockey, so that part about it is fun. But just full-time working, full-time schedule. Yeah, because that was crazy. I mean, another game where I got to watch some of it. I actually wasn't able to watch the shootout, but it's crazy, Kiston. That's the third game in this tournament where I've missed a lot of the game, and it's probably one of the better games of the tournament. I think Slovakia, while they're still in this tournament, they could be in such a different conversation right now. If just 3 or 4 guys that we saw in the previous World Juniors that got canceled, if they're in this, like, it's a whole different conversation. The fact that Slovakia just escaped a win against Latvia sucks. They could be a real monster in this tournament. Nemo and Hervinen are looking good, Salty, 100%. Got some Saginaw represent. Leon Summer in net. We saw Summer, I think, once or twice earlier tournament. Yeah, Salty, let's go. All right, guys, get your score predictions in the chat. Give me a 1 if you think Austria is going to win, or at least keep it close. If you think Austria is going to win or lose by only like 2 or 3 goals. 2 in the chat if you think the U.S. are going to smack them silly. All right, let's see it in the chat. Are we up for an upset today in some capacity? 1 in the chat for Austria to keep this close. 2 in the chat for U.S. to smack them silly. Get it in the comments, guys. All right, and we are underway. Edmonton, Alberta, day 5, I believe, of the World Juniors. All right, Luke Hughes, a stretch pass onto the right side. Come on, let's see a Matty Nyes goal today. Oh, Bordelot got that puck stripped from him. And now another reset here for USA. Luke Hughes been all over the puck in this tournament so far. A stretch pass from the left side, drop pass. Bordelot around the net. He gets it knocked off again, and now it's back behind the Austria net. Austria will settle things down on a reverse pass and exit out of their own zone. Now puck dumped in, back behind the net. Long shot in the front, scores! I believe that was Kaiser from the point. I don't know if that got deflected or not. Either way, it's a U.S. 1-0 lead in the first minute of this hockey game. I honestly don't know if that went straight. I don't know if the Austria goalie was just let's see. That goes straight in. Wow. The Austrian goalie was way out of position. I mean, there's so many bodies in front that are just screening the guy. Poor guy, but super out of position. And Kaiser gets the U.S. up 1-0. So the defense getting in action here for the U.S. Yeah, Salty. It's Kaiser. I think he was a mid-round draft pick, but he's definitely a guy that wasn't a favorite to be in. I don't believe. Oh, Brett Berard coming in hot on that right side. He missed the far post, but we definitely know the more notable defensemen on this Team USA: Luke Hughes, Brock Faber. It could have been Jake Sanderson in this tournament, but not seeing him in here. I would say Tyler Clevin, notable for Sens fans. Let me see here. When was Tyler Clevin? Was he a second-round pick? Yeah, Tyler Clevin, second-round pick, 44th overall by the Sens in 2020. I remember because it was that trade. Yeah, he's a Hawks prospect. I remember that trade between the Ottawa Senators and the Toronto Maple Leafs, where the Leafs actually, funny enough, guys, that trade is really relevant for this tournament. I believe, I'd have to check, but I believe the Leafs and Sens swapped picks. Resulted in the, was it the 2020 draft or was it 2021? Maybe I'm confused with the picks, but across scores! Oh my. Are you kidding me? Was that Coronado? That was nasty. That was gross. So Matthew Nyes, I think, has 2 assists now in this game. That was gross. What a pass by Cooley. Cooley right into the middle. And look at that patience by Coronado. Oh my God, that patience from Coronado. That's gross. Flames fans get amped. So Matthew Nyes has 2 points on the night, and so does Coronado. So Coronado has Coronado has a goal and an assist. Matthew Nyes has 2 assists. It's good to see Nyes getting some points on the board. That's what I wanted. I want to see a goal now. I want to see a 3-point night, at least, for Matthew Nyes. So that's Coronado's second of the tournament. And I didn't want this kind of game. Not even 3 minutes into the first period. We're already 2-0 for the U.S. All right. Let's pull up chat here on my phone again because it's being sketchy. All right. We got 18 in the chat. What's up, Hudson, again? Thank you for being here. Pull up your comment. Yeah, Salty. I think they were saying there's a few guys here 2022 eligible. Hey, how's it going, Richard? Good to see you in the chat. And yeah, Salty, you are right. The U.S. are so good on zone entries. Like, a lot of those plays are board play. You see Matthew Nyes right on that left side enters the zone, and then Cooley gets a space. I mean, at the end of the day, Cooley, that's the biggest thing with how good I think Cooley is it's not even just the speed, like, the combination of speed and hands with this guy, unreal. But he also knows how to slow down the play. Like, Logan Cooley, in any capacity there, especially against Austria, and I'm not trying to throw shots at Austria, like, Cooley could take that puck and probably make it happen in the middle of the ice off that pass. But he slows things down, lets Coronado come towards him in the middle, and then Coronado does it himself. Like, if this line can do this throughout the tournament and into the knockout stage, like, the US are going to be so nasty. They're going to be so dangerous. Hey, I mean, I feel like the US and Canada will be right in that conversation. Thanks for the info, Salty. Yeah, guys, if you have any players you're watching out for, or your favorite team, or you're looking for a certain prospect, let us know in the chat. Yeah, the Holinka Gretzky tournament just happened. I watched a little bit of it. Honestly, I probably watched way less of that tourney than I would usually in past years. Shots are 5-0 for the US. Damn, at this pace right now, maybe it would have been better to stream Canada, Czechia, but didn't really match with the good old schedule, so I was able to make it home for this stream. Richard says the 2023 draft class will be more represented in December, January. Oh, for sure. For sure. We'll get a lot better of an idea on certain prospects. Like even, for example, like Fantilli. Fantilli is a guy that a lot of people still have marked in their top 3 for the draft, top 3, top 4. But I don't think he's going to get that great exposure like around North America and even internationally until that World Juniors tournament happens in December. But a break here. Oh, Austria almost gets on the board. See, you got to take advantage of that. That was a break here for Austria on the left side, and that's a chance you've got to take advantage of. Another chance in front. That goes off Luke Hughes' skate. And now here come the U.S. back the other way. Here comes Matthew Nyes. What's the speed? Nyes cutting in front! Oh, my. Nyes gets stopped there by Summer. What edge work there by Matthew Nyes. Nyes is getting some confidence going in this tournament, guys. And now back to the point. It's Brock Faber. Faber around the net! Short side! Oh, Brock Faber stopped by Summer. Man, this line is buzzing, guys. Cooley, Nyes, and Coronado. This line is disgusting right now. Now a stretch pass onto the right side. Coronado coming in with a shot. That's blocked. Now Coronado again behind the net. Waiting. Still with it. Back up top. A long shot. That's blocked into the corner. Picked up now by Cooley. Look at Cooley's hands. Oh, my God. Look at Cooley. It's Cooley. Oh! Ah! Ah! Oh, my. Cooley tried the lacrosse. Cooley tried the Michigan. Cooley tried the Michigan. Oh, my. He almost scored the Michigan. Cooley almost scored the Michigan. Cooley got it on his blade behind the net, and Logan Cooley almost did the Michigan. Oh, that was gross. Oh. Well, that's what I was saying last game, Salty. Last US game. I was like, bro, imagine in a couple years. Salty, imagine the grossness of this line. Imagine how disgusting it would be. Keller, Cooley, Gunther, or even Kraus on the left wing with Cooley and Keller on the right wing. And then you have like, I don't know, Schmaltz with Gunther and like Hayden, or you could do a second line of Hayden, Keller, and Schmaltz. And then have Kraus with Cooley and Gunther. Like there's so many ways to go in that direction. But now they have Connor Geekie. You're right. They just drafted Connor Geekie. And guys, let's be honest. Arizona's probably going to be Arizona's going to be bottom 5 or potentially even bottom 3 again this year. If Arizona gets one of Bedard, Mitchkov, or Fantilli, bro, Arizona's going to be gross in a couple of years, man. Like maybe not even a couple of years, but like 3 or 4 years, Arizona will be nasty. If they get one of Bedard, Fantilli, or Mitchkov, their top 6 will be one of the best in the West in like 4 or 5 years. Like that's a future top 6 that's going to be so deadly in 5 years. Imagine they had Bedard and Cooley up the middle. That would be unfair. Cooley's going to be so good. He's going to be so good. All right. Hey, there you go, Adam. Yeah, a lot of guys. I have to look more into the 2023 draft class. I've only probably done research into like maybe 15 of the prospects that will go in the first round potentially. It's also hard because it's so early on. But Warlow with the chance and the rebound. Almost another chance. The U.S. up 2-0 right now. Shots 8-1 for the U.S. Hey Tommy, how's it going? It's good to see Tommy and 30 people in the chat right now, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. Hit the subscribe button. DraftKings, use promo code THPN. Support the channel, guys. Support the community. I'm happy to help, and I do appreciate everyone that joins the live streams, guys. Thank you so much for being here. $75 points in 51 games, but he's buzzing. Bro, I'm telling you, if Cooley can like add some muscle without adding like weight that will deter his speed, like he is going to be. I'm trying to think of a good comparison in the NHL. Like Cooley will be like with his skating ability and hands, like he could be like a Barzal vibe with more of a scoring touch. Like I'm thinking that for Cooley, or even I'm trying to think of even a better comparison. Like, I mean, Cooley just like he just attempted the lacrosse Michigan. I mean, it's hard not to think Zegras when you see that now. But I mean, Cooley's gonna be so good with his speed, his hands, and just his overall IQ. He's gonna be so good. But yeah, guys, we have 27 in the chat. Please make sure you stick around for a bit, have some chats with the community, have some chats with myself, and ask any questions you'd like. But definitely hit that like button. And yeah, give the channel a chance with that subscribe button as well. All right, 11:25 left in the first period. On the reverse in front, rebound! Oh, big save by Summer. 2 saves there by Summer, the goalie for Austria. And now 10 shots on the board for U.S. But only 2 goals to show for. They had the first 2 quick goals in the first 3 minutes. Yeah, hockey community is great online. Well, it can be great. There's obviously toxic sides to every community, but let's go. Cool hands, Cooley. Love it. Yeah, we'll see, Salty. That was one of those, like, I think Arizona is looking at that pick and going, this guy's huge. Let's see if we can develop it to be a top 4 guy, or even a guy in our top 6. But I don't know. I think reality of that situation is Arizona could have went much more higher ceiling with that pick. I mean, there was guys on the board that's even slipped to the second round. So we'll see. The Arizona should have. I mean, I'm glad they didn't pick Del Bell Blues, but Del Bell Blues, look out for that name. Thoughts on Misak? Yeah, I like Misak. I think he's another one that, as for Habs prospects, a lot of people are not talking about him right now just because of the other guys that are coming up, and obviously Slafkovsky. But Misak could easily be in that conversation for a guy that's really contributing in that top 6. I mean, I'm looking at Montreal long-term in 3 or 4 years. If you have a potential top line of Slafkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield, Misak definitely could be on that second line with Kirby Dach maybe. So that's definitely something to consider. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, Josh Doan. The Doan represent still goes solid. Yeah, Misak could be a real gem there for Montreal, where a lot of people don't talk about him, but he's shown success. He's shown he can score. He's got some hands on him as well. Oh, give it to Nyes! What are you doing, Cooley? Oh, Cooley, buddy. Oh, see, bro, I was just hyping up your IQ, and then Cooley took too long with the puck there, but now he's got his second chance and gets robbed there by Summer. See, I like that from Cooley. Get into the middle of the ice, but he should have. That was selfish, bro. He should have fed it to Nyes. I'm not just saying that because the Leafs represent, but Nyes is all alone in front. Like, bro, he's got positioning in front. I don't know why Cooley held off there with the play and then took too long with the puck, and Summer makes the save even on the second attempt. But we'll see what happens, guys. Price going to Vegas? I don't know, man. There's so many random rumors that get thrown out. I don't know what to believe anymore. August is so weird. Like, based on all these rumors that were happening, like Chikarin, JT Miller, all these things happening, you thought August was still going to be bumping. And even like with World Juniors, like I just assumed it was going to be bumping with Hockey Talk and World Juniors happening, but the World Juniors has just been, it hasn't been marketed well. I mean, I've still enjoyed watching the tournament so far, but it just hasn't been marketed well, and it's kind of been disappointing. But hey, we still have good numbers coming in here. And yo, Zarbian, what's going on? Thanks for being here. We got 20 likes, so we got to get 30 likes by the end of the period. Let's get it. So 10 more likes, guys, before the end of the first period. And yeah, it definitely hasn't been to the most potential of what I was hoping for, but we'll see, Hudson. I mean, I would put more validity on the Kessel to Edmonton rumors than a lot of the other rumors getting tossed out there. Like, there's a reason I've talked about Kessel to Edmonton, not because I thought it was realistic, but because I would say actual like sources have said that the Oilers have reached out and talked to Kessel, or at least there was some interest there. I don't know who to believe, honestly. At some points, like even again, I don't want to call people out in any sense, but like for an example, Pagnota goes out and says, "Oh, Chicago's engaging in trade talks with Patrick Kane," and then a Chicago Black, was it Mark Lazarus, or I think it was Lazarus or someone else for the Hawks, comes out like literally 10 minutes later and goes, "The Hawks have not engaged in trade talks for Patrick Kane at all." Like, I just don't understand how two people could be so far off. Like, I'm taking Mark Lazarus' word probably just because he's close with the Hawks organization with sources and stuff, but like I don't know where that comes from, you know. So it's one of those things. Like I am very careful sometimes with rumors, but if I see it from 2 or 3 different sources or 2 or 3 different like Twitter accounts that have like verified hockey accounts, then I'm probably going to talk about it, because there's that. For the most part, I'd say 90% of the time, even if things are not the most accurate, where there's smoke, there's fire. And if at least 2 or 3 people are talking about it, then there's at least some truth to it. It doesn't mean that it's going to be fully the truth. Like, so Pagnota, for example, maybe the Hawks aren't engaging in Patrick Kane talks, but maybe this is just a conversation. Like, I'll just throw this out there. Maybe the Hawks are in conversations about Taves, or they're in conversations about one of their defensemen. And then say it's a team like the Rangers or a different team, and they just go, "Oh, how about Patrick Kane?" And the Hawks go, "Yeah, we'll see what happens," kind of vibe. Then maybe that picks up as the Hawks are not saying no, Hawks are in trade talks. You know how like things escalate sometimes when the truth is not fully determined. So anyways, US back into the offensive zone. A long shot, scores! Kaiser again. Kaiser from the point, his second of the game. The defenseman buzzing. Talk about the Blackhawks. Hawks prospect, hello. 15-1 of the shots of the U.S., and now they're up 3-0. And Richard, yeah, I could see Vegas going after John Gibson. I think that's more realistic than the Price one, for sure. I don't think Price to Vegas, like, Carey Price. That was a major deflection. Holy shit. Major deflection. Like, it completely changed the trajectory of that, yeah. That was massive. But yeah, I'm not going to take that too seriously. But what's up, Zarbian? Richard, salty with the W. We got 27 in the chat, guys. Again, hit the like button. Don't be shy. Drop some comments down below. Don't be surprised if Arizona moves Barrett Hayton, because remember, he's still not Bill Armstrong's guy, and he still hasn't signed. Yeah, I mean, Adam, you're right on that. It's been a weird situation with Barrett Hayton. I would say, as far as I know Barrett Hayton and I think Keller were living together or something along those lines. So it's going to be interesting to see I wonder if Barrett Hayton becomes one of those prospects that was drafted so high. Like, we've seen it with like Kotkaniemi, we've seen it with Kirby Dach. I wouldn't be surprised if Barrett Hayton gets moved. I'm with you on that, but I feel like Arizona would want like a younger kind of piece back. And like, I don't know if I could throw out the best example. Oh, in front, Coronado off the post. A long pass across the scene, and Coronado at that left post hits the far post, and now Coronado, another attempt in front that's deflected into the corner. Coronado off the post. He's got one though, Bacon. What's going on, Bacon? Coronado does have a goal. Shots are 15-1, as I said. Yeah, so Salty. Vegas will probably put Leonard and Patrick on LTIR, or I don't know about the Nolan Patrick situation, but at least Leonard will be on LTIR. So I don't know. I think what example was I going to throw out there? There was a player I was talking about with my buddy that could also get moved. Oh, Middlestat. That's what I was talking about. I wonder what I'm curious to see what Buffalo does with Middlestat. So if I could throw another guy out there, it would definitely be Middlestat. So keep an eye on a couple of those guys. I feel like Middlestat's one to keep an eye on. And I think Barrett Hayton's one to keep an eye on. Another shot up top. That hits the crossbar. Oh, my. Yeah, Richard, I'm kind of surprised too. I thought Keller might be in trade talks in some capacity. But I think with the age, Richard, I personally, if I was coming from an Arizona perspective, I would keep Keller because Keller's in that age that will fit really nicely. He'll be in his like 26, 27. When Arizona should be good. Should be good. I'm saying should because who knows if they'll screw it up. But I'm just saying projections based on if they get another top 3 pick coming up, they should be in a playoff spot within 4 or 5 years. And that would have Keller at what, 27, 28. So that would be decent time in terms of Keller being more of a leader, more mature. So we'll see. I believe, I'll check right now, but I believe Keller is what? He's in the 2016 draft, so he's like 24 right now, 23, 24. I think we talked about this. He's 24. So Clayton Keller's 24. So yeah, in 4 or 5 years, he'll be 28, 29. They might trade him. They honestly might trade him. But I think with Keller, he's more locked up long term. I think that contract will age well. I've been saying that. I think by the time he's 25 or 26, 27, 28, I think as the years go on, that contract will age well. That's my prediction. I think Keller has so much skill. I think this guy is probably, especially with the cap going up, I think as long as he produces like 65 plus points every year going forward, that contract's pretty good. Yeah, I agree. Keller is pretty underrated. I like Keller. I think, to be honest, I think Keller is being held back a little bit with Arizona right now. I think I like his chemistry with Schmaltz, but had Keller been on more of an offensive team, more of a scoring team, I think Keller would be blowing up right now with production. I think he'd be a 30-goal guy easy, I think. I mean, Keller got up there in goals last year, I think. He had a bounce-back year. And he did put up, I think, was it 60 to 70 points last year? Let me check. Yeah, so Keller got close to 30. I mean, he got 28 goals last year, 63 points in 67 games. So pretty good for Clayton Keller. That's really good. I think, as I said, I think in more of an offensive system, he would be consistently a point per game guy. And I think he is extremely underrated. Honestly, I think he is extremely underrated. And I honestly look at the 2016 draft, and I still stand by that. I don't think Keller was a bad pick at number 7. I know some people look at the 2016 draft and go, you could have taken like a McAvoy, or you could have taken another defenseman and had like a stellar. But I think Keller was a pretty good pick. Like, at the end of the day, I mean, 2015 was the one that was more stacked. But I mean, 2016, based on who went in the first round, there's not too many guys that were better than, or at least looked at as better as Keller. Like, I would take Keller over Sergachev, to be honest. But that's just, I don't love Sergachev. I think Sergachev can be a really good defenseman, but I just think Keller is so underrated. Like, let's be honest right now, if Keller's on Tampa, on Tampa on a line with Braden Point and Kucherov, let's be honest with ourselves right now. Keller is easily getting a point per game. He probably goes off in the playoffs, and people consider him like this unbelievable player. I would obviously take McAvoy over Keller, and instead of that, there's not too many guys like 2016. At least like Jordan Kyrou right now, it's easy because of recency bias to say probably over Keller. But even then, like, I think that's more just so because Kyrou was like showing well later in the season in the playoffs. DeBrincat, yeah, as of right now, you'd probably take him potentially over Keller. But again, the conversation is recency bias. If Keller goes on a better team, he's probably showing a lot better. Hudson says, I'm looking very forward to the 2023 draft. Excited to see where Bedard ends up. Yeah, Hudson, it's going to be interesting. Guys, in the chat, if you're chilling, you haven't commented in a hot second, get your predictions going. Oh, that was dangerous. Get your predictions going. I know it's hard because of standings, hard to determine the draft lottery, but get your predictions on where you think Bedard will end up, or even making it more interesting. Where will Michkov end up? Yeah, Richard, I would personally probably take Keller over Kyrou too in terms of long term. But it's close. I think Keller's more consistent than Kyrou. I think Kyrou has his like huge moments. I think Keller's a little bit more consistent though. And as I said, I think Keller on a better team, as I said. And Kyrou kind of just stepped on the scene, right? I think Keller's shown more, I would say, like over time, over the last few years, progression. How's it going, Scott? Thanks for being here. Let's get some Scott height. Welcome if you're, I don't know if you're a new subscriber or you've been chilling. Thanks for being in the chat. Appreciate everyone in here. But yeah, it's good that Kirill is definitely back in mini and hopefully all good in that regard. 4 minutes left in the first period. Oh, what a move by Cooley. Cooley coming in, a pass. Oh, see, that one he should have shot. He goes to the pass to Matty Nyes. Cooley definitely should have shot that. Shots are 20-2 for the U.S. Whoa, Salty with a hot take in the chat. Salty, what if Michkov fell to like 5? And like a team that's like not even bad, like scooped him up. Like what if he fell like a couple picks? Oh, what a return pass! Oh, that would have been nasty. That would have been nasty. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, Samoskevich, that was gross, bro. Look at this patience from Cooley. Cooley's so good, man. Look at this. Look at this play from Cooley to himself. The backhand above 2 sticks. Oh my God, Cooley's gonna be so good. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. It's actually freaking ridiculous how good Cooley is. When he like, again, like that was just kind of a decision-making thing that I feel like his IQ is unreal, but his decision-making on the fly, it's tough because he's going full speed, but man, he could have went for a highlight reel goal there if he just drove the net. It was a little selfish on that play versus the previous play, which he did get selfish and it probably wasn't the best bet. Oh, Bedard will end up in Detroit. So I wouldn't say for sure no. I mean, Detroit isn't a tough Atlantic division. I don't have them close to the bottom of the league, but I think there's no guarantees this upcoming season. The only guarantees, in my opinion, are I think Anaheim. I just think Anaheim and San Jose, one of those two teams will be in the bottom 5 of the league, just based on process of elimination. One of Anaheim and San Jose will be in bottom 5 of the league. I can almost guarantee that. And I think Buffalo will be in bottom 5 again. Outside of that, guys, like even people are guaranteeing that Montreal will be bottom 5 in the league. I don't know how people can guarantee Montreal will be bottom 5. We don't know how well their goaltending, like we don't know their goaltending situation in terms of health of both Allen and Price. Montreal's defense is weak-ish, but their forward group has a lot of depth. Yeah, they don't have like absolute stars right now, but if Slavkovsky makes the team, Slav, Caulfield, Suzuki, Kirby Dach, Dvorak, Duran, Hoffman, Anderson, like Gallagher, go through the list, man. Montreal has depth. If they're healthy, Montreal has depth. I'll give that right there. So I don't think there's any guarantees that even a Montreal would finish. And Chicago, everyone's guaranteed that Chicago will finish like bottom 3. I'm sorry, like I can't guarantee Chicago with a couple of the guys they still have on that team to say they're going to finish bottom 3. I really can't. If they move Patrick Kane, that's a different discussion. Then I'm having the legit discussion that Chicago is a guaranteed bottom 3 finish. But with Patrick Kane on that team, I'm not locking in that Chicago will be bottom 3. I'm just not. Because we don't know what version of Nashville we're going to get. We don't know what version of Dallas. We don't know what version of Winnipeg. We don't know what version of like Arizona. We'll see what they do. So I just, we'll see Salty. I mean, they still have like competent top 6 forwards. Like Reichel could be really good. We'll see what Taves does with his health. They have Patrick Kane. They have Domi. They have Athanasiou. It's not great, but I'm not looking at Chicago and going, oh, they're significantly worse than Arizona's top 6, or significantly worse than Buffalo's top 6, or significantly worse than Montreal's top 6. I'm not. I'm really not. Maybe you have a conversation about Chicago's depth being weak right now, but in terms of their top 6, Scott, the Wild are tough for me because I have a lot of faith in Fleury, and I still think Philip Gustafson still has a lot of untapped potential. I think the Wild will be probably middle of the pack in the Central, and it'll probably come down to them either making a wild card spot or missing. I'm going to drop my prediction video soon, my early one, but that's kind of where my head's at. I think it's going to come down to either them missing or them making a wild card spot. I really don't know how I have the Central shaping up yet. Oh, a long pass coming forward. Is that going off the bar again? I think Savage may have just scored. It looked like it may have hit the bar. We'll see, guys. We'll see. But we're either going to get a buzzer here any second now, or that did hit the bar. But this is weird. That didn't look like it hit the – I mean, I'm with Johnson on that. And then the buzzer did go off. So Red Savage is going to be on the board. It should be 4-0 US. Yep, the horn did go off. I think that's a goal. At least they're reviewing it. I mean, maybe it's not a goal, but it hit a bar. I knew the goalie didn't make a save. Even from far away from the TV right there, you saw it go over. Let's see this. Yeah, it's in. That's a goal. That's a goal. That's easy money to see. That's a goal. That's easy money to see a goal. I knew it hit something like in terms of a bar and came out. It hit the back bar. It went in. 4-0 US. Wow. Adam says, I feel Mitchkov will fall in the draft, especially with the leg injury, and he can't come over to the NHL for 3 years. Yeah, Adam, I mean, you're onto something there. I think it really depends on who's – I think other people are talking about in the chat. I think it really depends on who's drafting. Like, I think it just – like, this is my mindset. If Arizona's at number 3 – so, like, this is – I'll just make a prediction here. So, say Montreal – and Buffalo are the top 2 picks. I could see Montreal and Buffalo taking Bedard and Fantilli. But if Arizona was 3 and they don't feel like they're going to be good anyways for 3 years, I think there's a good chance they take Mitchkov. I also think it depends on if a team has like a couple of Russian players as it is. So like, I'm trying to think of a couple examples here, but let's see here in my head. Like, I don't think they're going to be bad, but say the Islanders with like seeing Sorokin come over, like if that was a scenario. Trying to think like if Vancouver was somehow that bad, having a couple of Russians like Podkolzin, Kuzmenko. Trying to think of any other example where it's like they've seen guys. I mean, Minnesota, I don't think Minnesota will be anywhere close to that bad. But if somehow like Minnesota didn't make the playoffs and they got a top 10 pick and Mitchkov fell, like Minnesota could be a really good place for Mitchkov because of Kaprizov. So, I mean, there's a few teams out there that I don't know if they're necessarily going to be close to a top 5 pick, but it could be a Michkov selection scenario. I think Arizona is a good example of a team that they don't feel like they're rushing to be unreal right away. So if they are at 3 or 4, I don't think they'd be afraid to take Michkov just because, like, I think they'd have to get verbal. Like, I think they'd have to get a verbal agreement or some kind of, I don't know. I mean, a verbal agreement means nothing, but I think they'd have to get some kind of like secured conversation where it's like, you're going to come over and you're going to come to training camp, or you're going to do something in a couple of years, like just to give them peace of mind that this guy's not going to just stay in the KHL for 10 years. I don't know. I was trying to word that properly. It would have to be something to give them some kind of an agreement. Because Arizona can't afford drafting a player in the top 3 and then not having them for 10 years. Like, Arizona is definitely one of the franchises that would not be able to get over that. I think a team like a team that had a lot of prospects and like crazy system, like an LA, is like a different conversation. But Vegas is not getting Bedard, buddy. I mean, that would be a big joke. I can't see Vegas being that bad. Will pass across. Samoskevich trying to cut in. Another chance. Oh my God. 2 chances there. I think that was Berard off the side of the net. A long shot from the return, and that's stopped by Summer, and there's only 2 seconds left in the first period. Vegas sucks at asset management. Yeah, they're not amazing. All right, guys, get your questions in. I'm probably going to take like a couple minutes for a commercial break here and just munch on some food. So if you guys are in the chat, hit that subscribe button. I do really appreciate the support. Hit that like, hit the notification bell. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a couple minutes off here for a little bit of an intermission break, muck some food, and we'll be back for the second period. I mean, at this point, guys, for a lot of these live streams, well, there's THPN or Hot Take Hockey. I mean, always going to keep doing the commentary in some capacity, but when it's a 4-0 game, like, it kind of sucks. I had a feeling it was going to be like this, and that's why I was going to maybe do the Canada game, but it just didn't make the most sense to commit to that game. So I'm not sure if I can. And for this channel, I want to be able to do full stream. So this is going to be also like a Q&A kind of stream and talking about World Juniors in general, talking about NHL. So we'll do commentary for the rest of the game for the next couple hours, but we'll also be doing a lot of Q&A stuff and engage with you guys and just have some conversations about the league and the sport and in general. So I'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. Chill out, get a drink, get a snack, and let's keep chatting some hockey. All right, I'll be back in a few. Yo, back. Let's go. We back. What's going on, guys? So a little intermission report here. If you guys have any conversations we want to have together, whether it's about NHL trade rumors, NHL prospects, hockey prospects, NHL predictions, if we want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Have a conversation. Drop a comment in the chat. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the THPN YouTube channel. Use promo code THPN on DraftKings, and yeah, hit a like button, guys. Hit that like button. Helps a lot. So if you have any questions, guys, or as I said, want to talk about anything NHL or international hockey, whatever it is, maybe conversations for myself for future videos or certain things we can talk about in general that are hot topics right now in the league. Whether, as I said, it's big trade targets out there or certain prospect conversations, because we are watching the World Juniors. Hey, Evan, thanks for being here. Who do I think has the most underrated prospect pool? Ooh, good question. So I've talked about different prospect pools in the past. I've actually ranked prospect pools in the past. So I would say Anaheim's definitely got to be up there for underrated. Maybe not as much because they've had a couple guys graduate from maybe that prospect title. I think not Boston. I think Buffalo's prospect pool is getting increasingly better. I still think Detroit's is not talked about enough, considering they might have Edmondson is going to complement Seider so well, and they have a couple forward prospects that are not talked about enough. I think Soderblom's such an interesting prospect, and of course Raymond just stepped on the scene, but they have so many other guys. Trying to think of underrated. I think Nashville has a couple really underrated young guys. Tomasino's not a prospect anymore, but Evangelista, really interesting. They just drafted what's his face? They just drafted Kamel. Kamel is really underrated, I think. He scored a couple goals early in this tournament. I also think Dallas's prospect pool is pretty underrated. They have a couple interesting prospects. And even a guy like that, like Jason Robertson, stepped onto the scene. They just drafted Stankoven. They have a couple interesting prospects, and I feel like they draft well later into the draft. I liked their. I didn't have much info on who they just drafted in the 2022 draft, but I know even later into the draft, they drafted Jordan Kyrou's brother, Christian Kyrou. And I know I was looking at a couple of their drafts. Let me just pull it up. But I know that 2020 and 2021, I liked a lot of their selections. So just to pull it up. So round 2, Stankoven and who's the other guy they picked late? I like the Stankoven pick from Dallas in 2021. They had another selection I liked. Martino. Martino was an interesting pick as well. Ayrton Martino and Logan Stankoven, those were two good picks. Martino could be a little bit of a project. But I think that's an interesting selection. And then 2020, who did they take in 2020? I feel like the last couple first rounders they picked. Maverick Bourque. They picked Maverick Bourque in 2020, and that was a late pick too. They went to the Cup final. Yeah, and Maverick Bourque could be another really interesting younger player. He put up almost a point per game in limited games in the AHL. So as I said, between Maverick Bourque, Stankoven, a couple other guys I just listed, pretty underrated. Hopefully that answers your question. And yeah, Greg, I agree. I think Wild have some pretty interesting prospects as well. I think long-term guys, like guys that we'll see for the Wild in 2-3 years. I mean, not to the Kaprizov extent, but similar to the fact that they have a couple of guys that will come up from overseas as well. And yeah, Richard, I agree. As I said, Dallas definitely underrated. All right, Hudson, you're always welcome back here or the Hot Take Hockey YouTube channel online. Either way, hope to see you more online when you can in your free time. But I hope you have a great evening, great night. Thank you for being here, Greg. I'm not sure how long you've been subscribed to this channel or how many channels if you follow hockey content on YouTube often, but I do appreciate you being here. Let us know your favorite team if you haven't yet. Maybe Wild. Rainiel, if you want to send around the stream to anyone in the chat, guys, if you want to share the stream around, please do. But again, if you guys have any any questions or any conversations we want to have about like some hot topics right now in hockey, whether it's World Juniors or whether it's NHL trade rumors, definitely drop a comment in the chat and we can discuss it. Hey, THT, what's going on? It's good to see you in the chat. Good to see you. What do I think about the Toronto Maple Leafs? In what sense? Like what, overall organization talk or about their players, prospects, playoff hopes? How do you think the Leafs are going to do this year? I'll drop my prediction video on the channel, but yeah, I still think they're going to be in the playoffs. I guess it's a matter of what the Leafs will do after they get there. Yeah, Jacob. Well, I'll ask the chat guys right now. It's obviously become more of a conversation after Matthew Tkachuk, Gaudreau leave a Canadian team. Do we think Matthews will leave the Leafs? Yay or nay in the chat, guys? Yes. Do you think Matthews will leave? No. Do you think he'll stay? Will Austin Matthews leave the Toronto Maple Leafs or ask or one out? By the way, what's up, Logan? Yeah, I know a little bit about Wyatt Johnson, Richard, but I was saying, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce their recent prospect edition. Didn't know much about him going into the draft, but I know I think he was in the Swedish Elite League, or I think he was out of Sweden. THG says, John, please give me hope if there's any possibility of moving Bailey. If so, what would you get for him? I don't believe there's a market for him and won't be traded, sadly. I see Boas going. Yeah, THG, I definitely see Beauvillier as the more likely candidate to leave in a trade, but I'll say this, and I said this in the Leafs circumstance, THG, I don't know if you watched my video, but there's other examples of like a Vancouver. There's a couple contracts there. Like it would have to be a swapped contract, and I think in that scenario, you're not creating cap space for yourself. So either way, I think in any scenario, unless the Islanders attach a couple picks to Bailey, I don't think it's going to be a deal unless it's a swap for another mediocre contract, and they still have to, in that case, move Beauvillier or like a Pajot or something. I think in the scenario where you trade for Kadri, I think the Islanders consider trading Pajot just because I think looking at the top three centers of Kadri, Barzal, and Nelson, that's like really, really, really solid. But I think there's still the scenario where you move Beauvillier, try to move Bailey, and I don't know. I think if Lula wasn't so stubborn, this is where I'll chime in, guys. I haven't really talked about this on my videos, but I was thinking about this the other day. If Lou wasn't so stubborn and was willing to move Varlamov at the start of the offseason when teams were looking for goalies, this cap conversation wouldn't be an issue. They would have moved Varlamov. They could have signed a backup goalie for $1 million, and we wouldn't be in the same conversation. Well, THG, and it's even worse too because Bailey has 2 years left, right? JVR only has 1 year left on his contract. Yeah, JVR is $7 million. Bailey's what, 5? But Bailey has 2 years left, I'm pretty sure. So that's another thing added to that. And yeah, look, you just said that in the chat. Exactly, my point. Anyways, guys, we're underway for the second period. As I said, I'll mix in some commentary, but if you have any questions, have any conversations you want to go over, I'm definitely more than willing to have overall hockey conversations while we also watch this game. So, yeah, you know what? Let's talk about the Vegas Golden Knights for a sec here, because Greg, on the Hot Take Hockey YouTube channel, Greg, if I don't know if you're subscribed to HTH on YouTube, I just dropped actually a video on Dumba yesterday. So if you want my thoughts on Matt Dumba and the trade possibilities, I just dropped a video yesterday on the Hot Take Hockey YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, I do appreciate it. So we're a minute into the second period, basically. So just to have this conversation with the Vegas Golden Knights, because I'm actually, I want to just quickly discuss this because. So with Vegas, it kind of sucks to see what happens with Robin Leonard here. I mean, you pressure the guy to play, and he ends up going into a scenario where he makes it even worse, his injury, and now he's going to be out for the whole upcoming season. So you're looking at Logan Thompson being potentially your guy. Will Brossoit be healthy enough or take that spot at number 2, or you just signed Michael Hutchinson? So that it makes me think, them bringing in Michael Hutchinson, do they already know the situation with Leonard? I mean, the rumors were, and I actually had a couple of conversations with people towards the end of the season, that they didn't think Leonard was going to play for a while. So this was like out there. This wasn't just like Vegas got completely shocked. There was some sense that Leonard might not play or Leonard might not be healthy. And now it's obviously announced that Leonard's just going to be shut down for the whole season. So was that known before the Pacioretty trade happened? I mean, did Vegas, I guess, was the league on about it, or did Vegas feel like they didn't want 2 guys on LTIR? I think the difference is Leonard's out for the year, so they can use the LTIR for the whole year and don't have to worry about him coming off, versus like looking at Pacioretty, he's likely back in March, so they would have had to lift him off LTIR, and then maybe it becomes a cap problem. So Vegas could still go after a bunch of guys, whether it's a Phil Kessel or I don't know if someone else will sign him or have I'm sure other people have interest in Kessel. I know there's been the Oilers rumors, but Evan Rodriguez, Sonny Milano, there's a bunch of guys in free agency that Vegas could still go after. It is interesting, though. There's goalie options out there also. I mean, talking about Varlamov, 1 year left. Is Lou Lamoriello stubborn still, or would Varlamov be potentially in a trade? There's been the John Gibson to Vegas conversations. Could that be a big move coming up? I mean, I could see it maybe. John Gibson, I've been seeing people tweet out that John Gibson could be a Vegas move coming up. And as we're watching this American game right now, like John Gibson, American goalie in a Vegas market, like that would be nuts. I know some people have thrown out Carey Price to Vegas. Like, I just think with Carey Price and things he's dealt with, like Vegas is the last team that has player loyalty right now, at least around their team. I mean, a lot of players are looking at Vegas, and it's been a conversation from analysts, insiders, that Vegas is like, look what they've done to some of their players. I mean, they tossed Fleury away for like nothing. They've tossed Pacioretty away for like nothing. Alex Tuck it seemed like going to be a big part of their organization, and they moved him to get Jack Eichel. And I think that's less of an issue there because they did at least on paper get better. But I think there's a lot of conversations about Vegas and goaltending. Would Vegas and San Jose ever make a deal? I mean, San Jose's got 3 goalies that maybe Vegas could target one of them. But there's a few other options out there. But I do think Vegas should make a couple moves. I mean, especially with the LTIR space. I like Logan Thompson, but I just think if you're a team that's really serious about playoffs, how can you seriously go into the season and be like, oh, we got Logan Thompson and Brossoit. So John Gibson, I like this Richard Clay hot take. Richard Clay says, big hot take, John Gibson to Vegas for a package that includes their first round pick, Daniil Chayka, Brossoit, Patrick plus maybe. I don't know if that's potentially enough. I would say Anaheim would probably be hesitant, as it is, Richard, to trade in division. But Varley to Vegas does make a lot of sense, Logan, and I agree. I think Varlamov to Vegas would make sense either through a trade or Vegas to target Varlamov in free agency next offseason. But again, are the Islanders, is Lou Lamoriello too stubborn? I mean, Varlamov, a trade, that would benefit both teams. Vegas gets a goalie, and Islanders clear up some cap space. Then you can have a Varlamov and Logan Thompson tandem. Maybe even send Brossoit the other way to the Islanders and Islanders are still saving cap in that sense. So, and they could probably get an asset in that trade from Vegas. So it's interesting. There's so many different circumstances here with the Vegas Golden Knights. If I was them, I would look into targeting a better goalie, and you could probably send Brossoit the other way in that deal. So whether it's with San Jose or Anaheim, but a tougher deal probably because in division, or you could look at a team like the Islanders, and maybe it's a conversation. I would also say like there's other teams out there that are like maybe weaker teams. Like for example, could look at Arizona and attach a pick or something and look at giving Brossoit to them and then going for a goalie on a different move. I think there's a couple of directions where like even like a Seattle, could Vegas be like, hey, Seattle, like we'll give a shot to Drieger here because we know Drieger's he's shown success in the past. You take Brossoit, we'll give you a pick or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but I'm sure there's other like ideas out there for Vegas to go after a guy, take a chance with the guy. But if they're confident in Brossoit that he's going to bounce back and he looks healthy in training camp, maybe they do just go with Logan Thompson and Brossoit. Trust in the top 6 forward group that they have right now. Like they're still really good in that top 6 if healthy. And their bottom 6, I'm sure they'll fill holes. Like Nick Waugh still there, Carrier still there. They still have a decent amount of guys in that bottom 6 where it's like they'll probably have fillers on that 4th line in some points of the year. But their top 9 is still solid enough that if they have a goaltender, they have a solid defense. Vegas is a really good defense, in my opinion. They will be in the playoffs if they have a goalie that's playing really well. If they have an above average goalie, like 9-10 save percentage plus, they should be in the playoffs or sniffing playoffs for sure. Yeah, but Logan, how long is Drieger hurt for? How long is Drieger hurt for? I'm trying to think. I thought he was back like December, January, no? We'll see, Jacob. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to trade Leonard, but yeah, you might be right. Maybe Drieger is out longer than that. Let me look it up. Out 7 to 9 months as of June. That was posted early June. So June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So he very well could be back for January. Could be interesting. That could be still a target for Vegas, though. Drieger. Yeah, like and subscribe. Like Logan, I'm just thinking because Vegas could acquire Drieger in a scenario and send Brossoit back to Seattle. I'm just spitballing here, as I said. And then yeah, I think Leonard will want to trade too. That's what I think will end up happening. I could be wrong on that, but I think next offseason, either one of two things are going to happen. He's either going to ask a trade right off the bat because he's just not going to be patient with them, and I don't blame him for not being patient with them, or Leonard's going to be like, let me play, prove myself, and then if he proves himself again, which he shouldn't have to, but because of his health situation, then he's probably going to be like, trade me. I've proven myself. I'm still good. Trade me. But yeah, guys, listen to Logan. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Logan, I don't think it's necessarily a bad take, but I'll say this, Logan. Like, I feel like that take only goes in some scenarios. Like, I think Vasilevsky just showed that when you have that good of performances in series and you step up in the way you did, then you can be a big contributor to a cup win. But at the same time, Pittsburgh and I can't look at Pittsburgh and St. Louis's cups and go, they would have done it without Like the argument I have for Pittsburgh's 2017 Cup was that less. I mean, Matt Murray played really well in the last 2 rounds, but less about Matt Murray, more so Marc-Andre Fleury in that Washington series. Like, if not for Marc-Andre Fleury, Pittsburgh's losing that 2017 Washington series. I stand by that take. Watching that Washington series, and then Washington ends up beating them next year with Matt Murray in net. I don't think that's a coincidence, man. Again, maybe that's like a little bit of a, I don't know, naive take from me. But guys, is that a coincidence that they literally play Washington with Fleury? They beat Washington a bunch of times actually in the playoffs, but more so like that series, Washington had an up on Pittsburgh in multiple games, and Marc-Andre Fleury stood on his head. So I'm not even just looking at that, but I'm looking at like the history of Pittsburgh versus Washington. Matt Murray plays against Washington, and the following year, and Fleury's gone more so. I don't know. Jacob, Boston would never do that. They're pretty high on Swayman as far as I know. Jacob, I mean, at the end of the day, Vegas, like, I don't know how there's proof right now that Leonard with Vegas was a winning squad. They lost to Montreal, and they lost to they didn't make the playoffs, and they lost to Montreal. But yes, Leonard was not healthy. I get that, but they should have been in a better scenario to begin with. But the previous year, lost to Montreal. So I mean, I don't know. I get that, Jacob, but I'm just saying it would have to be a different trade, and I still don't think they're trading Swayman, as I said. I don't think. I think Boston would definitely trade Allmer before they traded Swayman. Oh, puck forward. This could be a 2-on-1 for the U.S. A sauce in the middle. Good stick there. Shots 34-9 for the U.S. Good play by Summer. Now another pass forward. Scores. The U.S. up 5-0. Wow. Jacob, what a bad take. And that's Mazer. Mazer's buzzing, man, with goals this tournament. What a steal. Who was that steal by? Nice pass by Pasterjoff there, and Mazer beats him under the blocker. So 5-0 U.S. Wow. Grandpa and parents. It's pretty sweet. That's pretty cool. The grandpa got to see him score. That's pretty sweet. Man, look at this. Such shit attendance, man. I don't understand. Like, they really shit the bed on this. Like, how can you have the ticket prices that much, man? Like, if the ticket prices were reasonable, I'd be at like 4 or 5 of these games. I was in Edmonton. Same way, like in Toronto, if ticket prices were reasonable, they weren't reasonable. It was ridiculous. They were only reasonable for freaking like. And I went to one of the games actually. I went to in Toronto. I went to Slovakia, Latvia. I paid like to be 10 rows up. I paid like $30-40. So to me, it's just like the fact that I was paying $30-40 as it is to go to Slovakia, Latvia, like it was ridiculous. Like, this is Team USA, and it looks like 75% of the barn is empty. Matty Nyes got cross-checked in front, so there's going to be a penalty against Austria. Jeremiah in the chat says, hey, brother, wanted to stop and give my support to you. Looks like Team USA is destined to play Canada for gold. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Yeah, Jeremiah, really appreciate you being here. And, yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. That live stream would be a lot of fun. So, yeah, Jeremiah, I appreciate you being here. Ooh. That's a hot take. Wow. And in front scores the U.S. up 6-0. And Grandpa's hyped. Major scores another one. Oh my God, could he get a hat trick for Grandpa's birthday? Yeah, that was kind of a weak call. But thank you so much, Jeremiah. I appreciate you. Wow, huge hot take, though, from Logan Hacker. Hot take for next season. Hampus Lindholm will finish top 10 in Norris voting for next year. Okay, well, I'll adjust that hot take to what I think is more realistic as a hot take. I think Hampus Lindholm and McAvoy could be a top 5 defense pair next year. Whether you want to evaluate that as production or evaluate that as just overall performance, I think a better hot take for that is that Hampus Lindholm, and when McAvoy's healthy. So when McAvoy's in the lineup, I don't know what his timeline is, but I think Hampus Lindholm, Carlo even could be a really good pair. But Hampus Lindholm and McAvoy, when they're healthy, could be a really, really stud pair. NHL Express subscribed. Let's get some NHL Express hype in the chat. Let's go, NHL Express. I really appreciate that. Hey, thank you so much, Jeremiah. I appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoy your weekend as well. Hopefully the weather's good. Richard says, best thing that can happen for this, the next tourney is USA versus Canada for gold, and they can build up a rematch hype for December, January. That's what I'm saying. Richard, I'm with you. Do a US-Canada final, get some eyes on the final for this tournament. I would say there'll be a lot of eyes on this tournament for the semis and finals. If it's like Canada versus Sweden, Finland versus US, and then it's flipped over. I think, yeah. No, because my underdog team right now would be Czechia. Czechia is my underdog team right now. I think Czechia could upset a team in the quarterfinals. What do you guys think? Do you think Czechia could upset a team? I think they could. I think Czechia could upset a team like Finland. If it got to a semifinal, or how would it line up? I think Czechia would finish third in their group. So Czechia would play, sorry, not Finland, Sweden. I think Czechia would play. So I think Czechia could upset Sweden. But yeah, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit the like. Let's try to get 50 likes as we did last time on the stream. I think we can maybe do it by the end of the game. We have 19 in the chat right now. NHL Express says, do you think Canada game tonight will be close? I think it'll be closer, yeah. I mean, as I just said, I think Czechia is my underdog team, so Czechia will definitely give them a run for their money. And as I said, guys, I don't know if I'll necessarily be live on the Hot Take Hockey YouTube channel tonight, but I might do live stream tomorrow. I might do one on this channel. What's the schedule again for tomorrow? I might do one on this channel. Let's see. Tomorrow is... Yeah, I might do Finland, Slovakia tomorrow on this channel, guys. So keep an eye on that. But I'll definitely keep an eye on the other games. I might stream for Canada, Finland on the Hot Take Hockey YouTube channel, but I haven't decided yet. So just keep an eye on all of that stuff. But I definitely haven't decided on what I'm streaming yet. That might be a Finland, Slovakia vibe on this channel for tomorrow. Let's see. Logan Cooley's so good, bro. I'm gonna retweet this. He's so good, man. Like in terms of his skill, I'm gonna find that video. Oh. I'll probably like put down these plays, man. All right. It's pretty dominant. But Logan Cooley's done some sick stuff in this game. All right. Full chat. US Sweden tomorrow, right? I don't think that's tomorrow. I think that's Monday night. Is it tomorrow? Oh, you're right. It is tomorrow. Why did I not know about that? Oh, I think I did know about that. Am I streaming for that game on the Hot Take Hockey? I don't know what my streaming schedule is right now. Let me check what I told Dylan. I said Sweden, Slovak. I don't know. We'll decide. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will stream US Sweden tomorrow on this channel. I don't know what I prefer. That's a late game, right? Yeah, I don't know if I actually can do that game. Yeah, that's why I think I'm probably leaning towards Finland or Slovakia tomorrow on this channel, or just doing Monday night. But I think I'm leaning towards Finland, Slovakia tomorrow on this channel. We'll see though, because Finland, Slovakia will be fun, and honestly, that determines quarterfinal stuff. So, yeah, McTavish is a duck, but yeah, I mean, I know what he's saying, Richard, because like I was talking about that yesterday or the day before. Mason and Connor together, if Bedard went to the Ducks in the draft, would be nuts. If Latvia wins that game, that'd be crazy. All right, bro. Someone just tried to tell me Chikrin's a fourth line guy, as if the guy doesn't even know he's a defenseman. Bro, people get on my shit on YouTube. Come on. You can't be beefing if you don't know what position he plays. You'll go insane if Latvia wins that game. Let's go. Let's freaking go. All right, 7 minutes left, guys, in this second period. If you have any questions, ask away. All right. Man, it's so nuts that US has 40 shots right now. That is crazy. That is freaking nuts. Yeah, I don't know what Kaiser's saying there, but yeah, Scherzer's the one that kind of. I don't know why they were debating that was interference. Ooh, Pastajov. Stopped there by Summer. Summer's save percentage is not even like, it's not great, but he's faced over 40 shots now. So he'll probably, at this pace, he'll probably get close to 60 shots faced. Over 50 for sure. Oh, you know what? That actually was close interference. I saw it from the other angle. That actually was close interference. That's borderline, honestly. How are the Rangers going to do this year? I think they'll be playoffs. It's hard to sit on the Rangers right now, just because I think the Rangers, like, overall big time success, even in the playoffs, like, determined again, like, Hidal, Kako, Lafreniere. If that line can do what they did, I think the Rangers have such a huge advantage. Oh, Luke Hughes buzzing. Nice play by Luke Hughes, man. Good patience. Good patience. But again, guys, if you haven't yet, use promo code THPN on DraftKings. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit the notification bell. Let us know if you're a new subscriber. Who's my dark horse Calder candidates? You want me to say a couple? Dark horse Calder candidates. I would say good question. I think Jack Quinn or Peterka could be, but I think the fact that Power's on Buffalo probably overshadows those guys. But Quinn would be an underrated one for me, just if he starts scoring like crazy. Trying to think of anyone else that's like super underrated in terms of Calder conversations. I would say I don't think Eklund did. Eklund, I don't know if he's really a dark horse though. I don't think he passed the threshold, right? I don't think he did. I think Eklund could still win Calder, right? Yeah, Eklund could be in there. If I say one other one, is Kuzmenko young enough? He would be my big time. I don't actually know. He's not young enough. I think he's like 25, right? Kuzmenko turned 26 this year. So never mind. Trying to think of another dark horse. It's a good question, though. I haven't really thought about dark horse. I thought about my favorites for Calder. Pelche. If Pelche played for Calgary, if Pelche played on a top line somehow with like Huberdeau and Lindholm, he could be a dark horse. And yeah, that's where I'm at with a couple of dark horses. Yeah, Richard, I'm with you. What's up, Victor? How's it going? Victor, just for my knowledge, who's your favorite team? All right. You guys are ripping some PlayStation. There you go. All right. You're an Avs fan? There you go. Who's your favorite Avs player? Hey, let us know, guys. Again, if you haven't, let me know your favorite player, a player you're looking out for in this World Juniors. All right. But an icing against the U.S. there, so faceoff will come back to the U.S. zone. I'm still really curious to see where Ketzel will go, man. I hope Ketzel. I hope he signs with a good playoff team, man. I want to see Phil Kessel back in the playoffs. All right. U.S. back into the Austria zone, pressuring. Behind the net, a pass in front. That's poked away. Bordeleau trying to control that. Now Bordeleau looking for the pass in front, deflected. Bordeleau again with it at the half wall, waiting. Shots are 41-10 for the U.S. A one-timer attempt. Kaiser looking for the hat trick as a defenseman. Guys, someone pull up the stat. Has there ever been a defenseman in the World Juniors that scored a hat trick? There's got to be. And how many times has it happened if it has, which I would think there has. Got to find this information out. It'd be such a random defenseman, guys. Oh, Owen Power did it last year. What am I saying? But does that count? Because the tournament got canceled. Does that count? Does that count? Because it got canceled. I'm just thinking. I don't think that counts. Owen Power did it last year, but I don't think that those count anymore. That's so garbage. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out how many. See, Owen Power became the first Canadian defenseman to do it. I don't know if any other defenseman's done it. Owen Power became the first Canadian defenseman in World Juniors to record a hat trick. I don't know if another defenseman's done it, though. Oh, it does count, Richard? Okay. Then Power. It's just weird because, Richard, when I go to his stats on a hockey database, it doesn't show his World Junior stats. Like, it doesn't show Owen Power's World Junior stats. So that's what I was just going off of. But I guess you're right. I guess they do when they talk about it. They talk about Bedard's goals. But is that just the announcers referencing it? Or like by numbers, by like history statistics, like if they actually reference? But Berard's getting a penalty here. So Austria is going to get a power play opportunity with 2:38 left in the second period. Yeah, that's just dumb from Berard. That was literally just stupid. What are you doing? Imagine that's like in a freaking like elimination game and you do that. It's pretty funny. Yeah, Berard is a shit disturber, eh? And a long shot on the left side. Ooh, we got some beef here. Scherzer getting in there again. Scherzer's been in the conversation for a couple shit disturber things. All right. But again, guys, if you have anything you want to discuss in the chat, I can go over, like, as I said, upcoming free agents, prospects, draft, trade rumors, anything. You could be asking about a potential draft selection. Ooh, Savage looking for a second of the night. That's stopped by Summer. Shorthanded. Look at Savage. Knockdown time shorthanded here. Savage is buzzing. And I mean, the conversation was just who has an underrated prospect pool. And as I said, I did mention the Red Wings, but again, I think the Red Wings are ranked top 10 for a lot of people, anyways. Maybe even top 5 by some people. But Red Savage is another guy that he's pretty underrated, and he was a 4th-round draft pick for the Red Wings in 2021. So Red Savage is definitely one of those other names that he might not become anything like crazy, but I think in terms of a guy with some potential, I think he could be a really good like bottom 6, middle 6 guy still. This upcoming year, a pass across, return pass, scores! What a goal by Team USA! Shorthanded. Are you kidding me? What patience. Oh, that was gross. That was freaking gross. Oh, that was disgusting. With that return pass. Coronado, bro. Coronado's going to be so good. Talk about a Flames prospect that you should be excited about. Freaking Coronado. And that return pass to James. Ooh, nasty. Oh, got you, Richard. Okay. Thank you for that info. Oh. Was that offside? It might have been offside. Oh. This might have been offside. Yeah, for sure, Richard. I'm with you. The Jets have some intriguing prospects for sure. They just got Lambert. Perfetti is a really interesting piece. Is this offside? Let's see. Offside. Shit, that's so unlucky. That's so unlucky. That's going to be no goal. It's going to be back to 6-0. What a nice goal, man. That's going to get called back because the linesman doesn't know what he's saying. What stats do you want to see, Jacob? Oh, you want to see the statistics? Yeah, we can do that. There you go. I thought you were referencing like the points for like real juniors players. I was like, that'd be tough to pull up with the scoreboard here, but there you go. So it's going to go back to 6, but we have 13 in the chat, guys. Again, hit that subscribe button if you're new, hit the like. And yeah, I mean, in a blowout like this, I don't expect too many people to be here. I know that it's also tough because when people show the game online, then it's like, why are people going to come to play streams if they can just watch the game? So that also sucks. All right. But how many subscribers are we at now? Ooh, we're at 2.48K. I feel like by the end of this weekend, the channel could be at 2.5K, and that'd be huge. So, guys, get your friends in here. Let's try to get 2.5K. I feel like the channel is like really, really close. I think it's probably 15 away. So, you got to get that by the end of the weekend. All right, 50 seconds left in the second period. And that's going to be it for the Austria power play. But again, guys, if you have any takes in the chat, I'm also curious about maybe. I'm just reading this also too. Apparently the Pens might be trading, are going to even consider trading Dumoulin, which is nuts. All right. There's a penalty coming up. Oh, Austrian guy just dropped a couple not nice English words. Yeah. Or was that a U.S. player yelling that? I don't know. But I do want to talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins because it's interesting. Just quickly, guys, when we're talking about some U.S. teams and in the East, the Metro Division, we know how tough it can be. It's really interesting to look at a team like the Penguins and over the salary cap, they'd have to do some adjusting regardless. It might be short on roster to start the year, but there are teams out there that like could take salary back, whether it's like Buffalo, Arizona, Anaheim, Chicago. I would even say like other teams that could have some flexibility in terms of roster players in, roster players out, like maybe like a San Jose, Seattle. I think they're tight on space at this point, but maybe, as I said, a player in, player out. Maybe a guy like Drieger on LTIR for a bit. So it's going to be interesting. But I know that a couple like either insiders, analysts, like Dan Kingerski listed a couple of guys, and one of the guys being kind of surprising to me was Brian Dumoulin. And I know some people have talked about Dumoulin potentially being a trade piece, but I think that was more so like when Letang was in conversations of if he was going to leave or not. But I think he always wanted to stay with Pittsburgh. But The guys that I've always talked about potentially being dealt is Marcus Pettersson from Pittsburgh, Jason Zucker from Pittsburgh, and Kasperi Kapanen. I think Kapanen, even though he just re-signed with Pittsburgh, I think Kapanen could still be a guy that gets moved out. I think he's a guy that he got drafted by Pittsburgh, obviously went to Toronto, back to Pittsburgh. I've talked about some teams with Kapanen, whether it's like a St. Louis or a Colorado or a Carolina. Like there's some teams out there that I think Kasperi Kapanen could really benefit from a change of scenery and be in a middle six role. And I think probably be in a different situation and probably maximize or at least reach a higher ceiling. Because I think Kapanen, with his speed and his hands, like he should be way like higher in terms of production. He should have way more production and be way more consistent, to be honest. So I think Pittsburgh could still keep Kapanen and try to figure that situation out. But if there's two guys I would try to deal, it's definitely Kapanen and Zucker up front. Marcus Pettersson, in terms of the cap, I think you try to deal him because you're already really like crowded up on defense. Sorry, you're not really crowded up front. That's what I meant to say. So the Penguins that are crowded on defense, I think between if they were going for a forward and they move Joseph, but I mean, I think they should keep him. So between Pettersson and like Friedman, I think Friedman's still there. But even if he wasn't in that situation, I think Pettersson's the guy that you'd probably try to move. So between Pettersson, Dumoulin's been in some trade rumors, Zucker, Bluger, Kapanen. I think even if you move Dumoulin, though, for Pittsburgh, I think it's interesting because Pierre-Olivier Joseph could be in that top four. I think you could give him that opportunity. And then you have him or Ty Smith getting that top four opportunity and maybe playing with like a Jeff Petrie who just acquired. It's just the only thing I'd be worried about is like the defensive capabilities there. I wonder if they try like a pairing of like a Marcus Pettersson with Petrie and then keep Dumoulin with Letang. But again, it's just a matter of like how they're going to format things in that top four. I think they have so many options for their bottom pair, and I think Jan Rutta is probably the guy on that right shot side. So it's interesting with Pittsburgh. As I said, I would probably talk to teams like Buffalo and Arizona, see if you can send. I suggested Zucker to Anaheim. I think I'm going back to that trade. I think Zucker to Anaheim, targeting a guy like Maxime Comtois, giving them a couple incentives to take the Zucker contract, and Anaheim could flip Zucker. So I suggested that in another video on the Hot Take Hockey YouTube channel. So it's interesting, but I do think Pittsburgh is going to make a couple moves before training camp and maybe end of the season, because I mean, we know that Crosby only has a couple or maybe a handful of years left. Like we talk about the 2026 Olympics. Would Crosby be there? And if he's there, is that his last season in the NHL potentially? We'll see what happens. But I mean, Pittsburgh with their core, I would say Letang just signed that contract. Malkin just signed that contract. Shortly after that, that core is probably going to be done. And that's probably in around where Crosby would be done as well at the end of the Letang contract. So anyways, guys, we have 13 in the chat. If you have any questions again or anything you want me to talk about, I can definitely go over it. We are on intermission right now. I did also want to talk about maybe some free agents again and some updated maybe targets for certain teams. I do think Sonny Milano could be a target for the New York Islanders. I did see some conversations where a couple of writers, a couple of reporters for the Jets, Ken Weave, a couple other guys, I think I saw someone from The Athletic, that the Jets have been interested in guys like a Sonny Milano and a Tyler Mott. So I think Sonny Milano is still wanted by some teams like the Jets, the Islanders. I think even the Boston Bruins have had some interest potentially there. I think if the Rangers were to make a trade, they could go for a cheaper option like that and maybe even revisit bringing back a Tyler Mott. I also think the Rangers could be a team for Phil Kessel, but I think that's a reach. I think the teams for Phil Kessel, as I said, go back to the Edmonton, go back to the Vegas. I think even I could see him just going back to Arizona. If it's a comfort thing for Kessel, I could just see him going back there. But it's interesting. There's other guys out there that even like low-key defenseman options. Like, is Anton Strawman going to stay in the league? Like, where will Calvin DeHaan go? I think DeHaan's an interesting one because decent size, left shot, veteran guy. I think there's some teams out there that could use a bottom pair defenseman. I think a team that's been rumored to move out a defenseman or two was Carolina, but then they brought in Brent Burns, or move in a couple defensemen, sorry, and they brought in Brent Burns. Were they going to move Ethan Bear? But then they seems like they might keep him, give him a fair shot. I think Calgary could be a team that moves out of defensemen. So teams that are targeting defensemen, Calgary could be that team that maybe a team calls them and wants a Valimaki. Will St. Louis still trade Scandella? Just going over some defensemen that are available, obviously talking about free agency as well. But I think with Anaheim could still be a team that looks for a left shot defenseman. Maybe that's a Calvin DeHaan, but maybe Anaheim does give a shot at one of those younger guys available. I also do wonder with a team like the Buffalo Sabres, because they, not left shot, but right shot, they could be looking at a right shot guy. Right now on their right side, they have Lyubushkin, they have Yoki Haru. But after that, they probably have a left shot guy on the right side. So I wonder if they'll consider going after a right shot defenseman. Outside of that, I'm trying to think, like the Islanders, Scott Mayfield's only got 1 year left in this deal. Would they consider going after a right shot defenseman? Ottawa wants to trade that Zaitsev contract. So that's another conversation there. Will they be able to trade? And I still think there's something to be said about Provorov in Philly, but I mean, some Flyers fans have argued with me that he's not going anywhere. So maybe not. Also, I do wonder if San Jose is another interesting one. They traded out Burns because they go after a right shot defenseman. I feel like they could benefit from going after a veteran like Calvin DeHaan. I also think Calvin DeHaan could be a guy that on a cheaper deal, a team like Washington looks at, or a team like Vegas looks at if it's cheap. Like DeHaan could be that guy that it's under $1 million, that one of those playoff teams brings him as a sixth or seventh defenseman. So that's also something to keep an eye on. But yeah, there's still free agents out there. I think we're probably going to see a lot of PTOs kind of leaking in towards before training camp as usual. But at the same time, I think a lot of these signings will probably happen late August, early September. So I think we should all look out for that. But yeah, there's a lot of conversations still to be had. And Richard's saying, hope Scandella's moved. Blues have too many left shot right now, and they could use that cap. Yeah, I mean, Perunovich, they want to give Perunovich a fair shot. They already have Krug on that left side. I'm trying to think of the Blues defense right now. So you have Krug, Falk, you have Perunovich, Parayko, you have Scandella, you have Mikkola, you have Bortuzzo. Who am I missing, Richard? I just listed, I think, 6 or 7 guys. Trying to think, who am I missing? Krug, Falk, Parayko, Scandella, Perunovich, Bortuzzo. Rosen was in there. Who am I missing? There's one other guy in there. Oh, Leddy. Huge, Richard. Yeah, they just re-signed Leddy. That's why I was confused, because I knew Leddy was a free agent in my head. So, yeah, Leddy. No, I said Mikkola. Leddy's the guy I was forgetting. So, yeah, they brought back Leddy. So, I'm thinking, yeah, if they can trade Scandella, that's what the Blues should try to do. I mean, I know they've been trying to do that. Maybe trade Scandella in the Tarasenko trade that maybe still happens. Go top pair. I would say go. Yeah, you probably end up going Krug, Falk, Parayko, Leddy, Perunovich, Mikkola. Or Perunovich, yeah. Perunovich, Mikkola, something like that. Or you go Perunovich with Parayko and then go bottom pair of Leddy, Mikkola. Something like that. But Hamilton represent, yeah, in this upcoming game. I didn't even think about that. Misak and McTavish, they were on the same team for Hamilton. No, Victor, I'm just talking about defensemen for the Blues. But yes, Vucinovic was a good piece for St. Louis. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick commercial break before this third period starts, and then we can also talk about Canada and Czechia in this upcoming game. But if you haven't yet, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit the notification bell, use promo code THPN, and I will be right back. Yo, what's up, guys? Sorry for the delay. All right, I'm back. All right, let me know if you guys can hear me all right. Yo, Victor, you gotta chill, yo. People are gonna think there was a goal in this game. I'm joking. Yo, Victor, you gotta chill, bro. Yo, what's up, Nate? Appreciate you being here. All right. Nate, big Flames fan, eh? Oh, Nate, welcome if you're a new subscriber. Big shout out to Nate. All right, guys. So the third period is underway. We got 18 and a half left in the third. So we'll see what happens. But it's 6-0. So oh, Nate, you're hosting the Canada-Czechia game. There you go. Yeah, guys, make sure you stick around. Nate will be hosting the Canada-Czechia game on this channel. So make sure you do stick around. Attaboy, Nate. Let's go. Shots are 42-11 for the U.S. Sheesh. All right. Entering the offensive zone. A long shot. Easy save there for Summer. And a whistle. 17:51 left in the third. But yeah, guys, any early predictions for Canada, Czechia? I feel like it'll be a lot closer. I mean, as I said, I think Czechia is my underrated team for this tournament. So keep an eye on that game and on this live stream, or this channel, sorry, for Nate's live stream. Yeah, right now, I think Matthews, I would say right now, trying to put my bias aside, I'd put a 65% chance of Matthews staying. I think it's more likely he stays than not, just because, like, to me, I think, I don't know. I think the only two teams he would maybe leave to it in my eyes right now would be like Arizona or LA. Those are the only two teams. I think Arizona would have to really give him kind of like a clear, like, okay, we got our shit figured out. We have a bright future. You can play with guys like Keller and Gunther, or Keller and Cooley. And I think, but at the same time, I think LA probably, in terms of like everything Matthews likes, the attention, like kind of a place for brand deals, like extra stuff. Like he has a lot of friends that have houses in LA or in that area. So I could see Matthews going to LA. I've been saying that. If he leaves Toronto, LA would be the more realistic outside of Arizona. Oh, a pass attempt in front. Matthew Nyes almost scored. Bro, I want to see a Nyes goal, man. I hope, Richard. I hope Matthew stays and gets the captaincy. I love Tavares, but I think, sorry, I should say that I hope Matthews gets the captaincy so he stays. That's how I should say it. Because to be honest, I'm so biased. I would be so down for Riley to get the captaincy. But if Matthews getting the captaincy means he's staying, like if it was like him getting the captaincy, it's like no brainer. Obviously, I think for any competent Leaf fan, you don't like, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. If it's a matter of him getting the captain and staying or him not getting the captain and leaving, like obviously that's a no brainer. It's not even a conversation. So that's kind of where my head's at. If Matthews doesn't care, then I would love to see Morgan with the captain. But if Matthews wants to see, give it to him. I don't care. That would be a brutal loss. That's hilarious. Kevin Weeks in Canada. There's a little hockey stick to the drive-through. Unreal. But man, this weekend it's been so quiet with hockey news. I feel like it was supposed to get buzzing. You think he deserves the C? In terms of his play, for sure. right. Man, Coronado, I just want to add that to the conversation again. Coronado is going to be so good, I think. All right, 15 left in this third period. Oh, a giveaway. Austria. That deflects off Faber's stick and out of play. Man, I actually forgot about that. Cooley and Nyes are going to be playing together this upcoming season for, is it the University of Minnesota? I think they're playing for Minnesota together. Yeah, bro. I'm watching that highlight again. Matt Coronado, bro. That was such good patience. Is Jacob still in the chat? All right. Shots 46-12 for the US. Man, this game's been so dead in this last period. So yeah, guys, probably any conversation I was going to have post-game, I'll just have during this third period. So probably going to end right when the game ends. So if you guys have any questions, like I said, anything to bring up, bring it up now over this next 15, 20 minutes. As I said, if you have any video ideas for myself or THPN, bring it up in the chat, guys. I'm sure for I'm not going to speak for other hockey creators, but I think for most hockey content creators or any content creators in general, love hearing from the viewers on what videos they want to see, or in general, what kind of they want to talk about, or what content content styles they like. All right, Austria getting some work going here on this power play. Geez, that's unreal, Rich. I didn't even realize Snyder Rude's on that line too, or on that team. It's gonna be gross. That's freaking gross. But yeah, even like for this tournament, Nyes, Cooley, and Coronado is such a gross line. That's what I'm saying, man. The US, if they can have good goaltending in the knockout stage, the US could be a real threat to win this tournament. They just need the goaltending. If they have decent goaltending, I think they could win. I think they have a stud defenseman, good defense group. Imagine you could say the same for Canada with like Power and Wright and a couple other guys, but the US had like Sanderson and Beniers here. Make a huge difference. Oh, look at Luke Hughes' skating. Luke Hughes. Oh, he almost got it across. Man, Luke Hughes going to be so good. Yeah, I mean, that's a good conversation. Matthews is a good example because, like, Matthews was so big, like, in terms of how he was talked about, and this guy just went to Switzerland for a year. Like, that's kind of opposite of Matthews' personality, too. It's like, Matthew's personality, you'd think he'd want to like be center of attention for his year leading into the draft. Nah. This guy went to Switzerland. Oh my God. Kaiser almost got the hat trick. Yeah, I think I think Reno. I think the Rangers are a good topic. Richard, is he? I don't think. I could be wrong, but I think the Devils. I didn't think Luke Hughes was like expected to play. I might be being dumb right now, but I'm just thinking of the Devils' top 6 right now. Devils' top 6 probably lines up like Graves, Hamilton, Marino, Siegenthaler. Who's the other 2 guys? Severson, and I'm forgetting one guy. I just said 5 of the 6. Brendan Smith, who they just signed. So I'm just thinking, I mean, yeah, like they could have another spot there where Brendan Smith plays as the 7th defenseman, but they signed him for like 1.1 mil for 2 years. Like I would imagine he's in their plan to be on the bottom pair. So Ryan Graves, Dougie Hamilton, Siegenthaler, Severson, Brendan Smith, Marino. That's probably their top 6 they're going to go with. Which it's not a bad top 6. I mean, Siegenthaler is really good defensively. Ryan Graves, I like Graves when he's at his best. Hamilton and Marino, Severson as your 5 best defensemen, that's not horrible. I mean, if they had like a stud left shot guy there, sliding Graves and Siegenthaler down, like Siegenthaler and Marino on the bottom pair, I mean, Severson's going to be gone. But I mean, Luke Hughes in that conversation in that D group, like it could be like a Siegenthaler, Dougie Hamilton pair, and then Luke Hughes with Marino. That'd be pretty gross. So I think Siegenthaler is really good defensively. I think he would balance Dougie Hamilton well. And then I think Marino could balance Luke Hughes really well. Yeah, so that is interesting on the New Jersey Devils side of things for like their future, their long term. I think Severson's probably going to be gone. So when you look at balance, as I've talked about, Siegenthaler and Marino, really good defensively. You have Hamilton in there. So long term, if Luke Hughes is in there, I think Siegenthaler, for example, could balance Hamilton really well. And Luke Hughes could be a good balance with Marino. I think Marino doesn't bring much offensively. Luke Hughes, we know what he can do in skating ability. I think he'd be a really good partner for Marino. And then Siegenthaler, Hamilton would be really good. And then bottom pair, you'd have options if you're the Devils. So I think overall, I think the Devils, they got to figure out their goaltending situation for the long term. What's going to be Mackenzie Blackwood's future with the Devils? Do they have trust that Vanacek can be something for that team? So to answer your question, Raniel, how do I think the Devils are going to do this year in comparison to other like teams like the Rangers and Islanders in that division? And I mean, I think we're pretty confident looking at teams like Carolina, Washington, and Pittsburgh. They're going to be good this year for sure in the season. I would expect the Rangers to be back in the playoffs. And if that's the case, if those 4 teams I just mentioned, I mean, Islanders have it tough. Devils have it tough in the short term. So the Devils they also just drafted Nemec too, right? So where will Nemec fit in long term? I don't know what his timeline is going to be. So for example, if Nemec comes in and like, as I said, plays, I don't know, 3rd pair to start, because I mean, that's kind of what we usually see with defensemen. You don't just throw them into the top pair. I mean, if you have an experience with Dougie Hamilton up top, you want to balance it out. But I mean, at some point, guys, in 3, 4, 5 years, could we see a Luke Hughes and Nemec pair? Maybe. I definitely think, I think maybe we could see that potential. But Luke Hughes, Nemec, Hamilton, Siegenthaler, Marino, like the Devils are growing a really good defensive core. And thank you, Richard, for that, because I was just thinking of what they have in terms of what we've seen showcased, and obviously Nemec not being in the World Juniors, I'm excited to see what he can do on a bigger stage for all of us to see. But just looking at Nemec as a defenseman, I mean, Nemec could be such a rare find. And they already have such a rare gem in Luke Hughes. And we're seeing what Luke Hughes can do for Team USA in the World Juniors. His skating ability is going to be insane. And if it translates to the NHL, a top four that includes Luke Hughes, as I said, Luke Hughes, Nemec, and Dougie Hamilton. That is going to be ridiculous in 2, 3, 4 years. 5 years when, as I said, Hughes and Nemec are entering their primes. So let me know what you guys think on the Devils, though. I mean, the Devils are such an interesting team. As I said, they figure out their goaltending situation. I think with their growing forward group, I think they felt pressured to give Palat that contract. As I said, I think the Devils, I could still see them targeting a JT Miller. I don't know if that's the best call just in terms of like his age and what his contract demands. And I know the Devils want to be good now, but with guys like Luke Hughes and Nemec, you want to have your timeline fit those guys as well. You want to have your timeline fit like, okay, the Devils could be really good in the late 2020s, like 2024, 2025 and on. That second half of the 2020 decade, the Devils could be ridiculous. And you don't want to rush that and giving away assets. So, I mean, when we think about other pieces in the Devils organization, starting with the guys they have right now, up the middle, Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier. You look at guys that they have on the wing right now, Andre Palat, Bratt. Will Bratt stay there long-term? That's been a big conversation. Miles Wood, Sharon Govich, Dawson Mercer, wherever he'll play. That's really solid in terms of wingers for the future. But then even past that, more so, you have younger guys, younger prospects that I'm really like Holtz. I've been high on from the get-go. Really excited to see what Alexander Holtz can be. I think he could end up being a stud, but at the very least, he'll be another really good top six winger. So with Holtz, Bratt, Sharon Govich, those three guys down for the future for the Devils, along with Hughes and Hischier. Still, like, we'll see what a Nolan Foote does. I think that's kind of another intriguing piece. I think when they got him through trade, because he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning, so they got him in that Blake Coleman trade. Nolan Foote has shown flashes, and he had a decently productive year last year in the AHL, but I think in a year or two, we're going to really start seeing Nolan Foote as he's getting in more into his 20s. I think he's 20 or 21 right now, I think, maybe turning 22. But Nolan Foote also could be an interesting piece for the Devils. So in terms of trades, I mean, they could target a JT Miller. I just don't know if it's the best fit in terms of the window they have with guys like Holtz, Hughes, and Nemec and guys like that. So really interesting. And as I said, the goaltending conversation will be on the forefront for the Devils with Blackwood and Vanacek right there. Will they make a change or will they take their chances? I don't know. But the Blackwood one, I mean, what happened during the vid and all that stuff, I don't know. But I'm intrigued by the Devils, man. They have the growing pieces together. I think they're going to have one of the better defensive cores. And I mean, when we go back to the early 2000s and the defense that the Devils had, I mean, this is going to be such a different kind of defense the Devils will have in terms of ceiling and in terms of creativity, in terms of IQ, in terms of pure skill, and guys like Luke Hughes and Nemec, and then having, I would say, easily a top 20 defenseman in Dougie Hamilton, wherever you want to rank him, top 20, top 25, easily. The Devils are going to be so intriguing coming up. And even if it's not this year or next, as I said, late 2020s, they're going to be a team to watch out for. Yeah, Richard, I mentioned Mercer. I did. I don't know if I think he'll be playing wing, I would imagine, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, 4:30 left in the third period, guys. I know I got into some Devils talk there, but the Devils are an interesting team for me. And Raynell asked the question, so I wanted to talk about them. But thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Thank you for guys for being here. Again, hit that like button. Live stream is going to be done here in a few minutes. So if you have any more questions, ask away here in the last 5 minutes of the stream-ish. But 52 for US, man. 52 shots. Crazy. Hey, Dylan, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, numbers have dipped down in this third period, probably due to a combination of the score and people showing the game as usual. But it's been good. Having some good shots in this third period. People kind of coming in and out. Reno says, how are the New Jersey Devils going to do this year? Yeah, Reno, like I said, I don't think I necessarily have them making the playoffs, but as I said, in a couple of years, I think they're going to be big time, at least later in the 2020 decade. I think the later parts of the 2020 decade, I think they're going to be, I don't want to say a powerhouse, but I think they will be a top 3 team consistently in the division. Like when basically, I think the Devils will dominate in that division once Pittsburgh and Washington aren't really relevant anymore. Once Pittsburgh and Washington, that's kind of what you're waiting for the Devils. Like once the cores die down with Pittsburgh and Washington, the teams that will be kind of in those spots will be like, maybe the Hurricanes will probably be around still. So Rangers, Hurricanes, Devils. And honestly, we'll see what happens. But the Blue Jackets could be in there. If their prospects pan out, good goaltending, Johnny Gaudreau in there as well, growing defense core, the Jackets could be in there as well. So we'll see. Adam says, what should Anaheim do with Sam Steele? It seems like Steele needs a change of scenery. Yeah, Adam, as of right now, Steele's they didn't qualify him. So Sam Steele is an unrestricted free agent. He can sign with whoever he wants right now. So I've suggested a couple teams like Calgary and Vancouver. And I even suggested Arizona to go after a guy like Sam Steele. So I know you're an Arizona fan. Arizona could be a situation where Sam Steele gets more of an opportunity to play. But I like the Calgary potential. I like the Vancouver potential there if they trade JT Miller. That was kind of my asterisk on that. It was like, I don't think he's a fit with Vancouver unless they trade JT Miller. I think Calgary's a fit if Monahan isn't healthy. And I also think Nashville could be another team in that conversation. But there's a bunch of teams that could take a Sam Steele and give him a shot. Oh, big hit there. Sheesh. All right, under 2 to go in this third period. It's been such a dead third period. Having more productive conversations with the NHL versus. I mean, I feel bad for even the commentators. Like, creds to Johnson and Johnson's creating most of the conversation right now, but it's funny. When you're watching a game like this, it's kind of like you're just kind of creating conversations about certain players, certain topics, certain trending topics, kind of. So Richard says, I think Hughes puts up 40 goals and 90 points. I hope so, man. That'd be unreal. I think the 90 points, I think Hughes, it's really realistic he puts up a point per game this year. That's what I think. So I think probably more realistic, 83 points for Hughes. I don't know. 90 points would be unreal. I hope it happens. I'd probably have him closer to the 80-point mark, but how did that go in? Short side. How did that puck go in? Well, it's 7-0 USA. How did that go in? That was in the top shelf, man. Let's see. Passage off was cycling back and forth below, and then passage off below that left circle. Woo! Right above that right shoulder of Summer. Passage off just roofed that. Look at this. Oh, that's so much skill, man. Are you kidding me? Off the helmet. That's so nice from passage off. Jeez, man. That's so nice. We were just talking about the Anaheim Ducks. Sasha Pastujov, he was drafted. They're putting out the graphic right now. 66th overall, 3rd-round pick in 2021. Pastujov could be another really good draft pick for the Ducks. Jeez, it's crazy. Yeah, another underrated Ducks prospect for sure, and Pastujov for sure. But again, guys, we got 20 seconds left. I do really appreciate all of you guys joining the live stream. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, like button, notification bell. Use promo code THPN, DraftKings, and always support the community, even when it's streams like this, when it's games like this, when it's a blowout, and maybe third period's a little dead. Support content creators, support streamers, and support whoever it is, whether it's Dylan streaming, whether it's Lightning Broadcast, whether it's Nate Thomas, whoever it is. Support your streamers, support your content creators. And yeah, I really do appreciate the support, guys. Again, we're almost at 2.5 hours here. So thank you so much, guys, for the support. And in the dying seconds here, I just want to say I'll be doing at least one more game, at least one more for the World Juniors on this channel. Obviously, on the Hot Take Hockey YouTube channel, I'll be doing my own things, but always support THPN. We're so close on this channel to 2.5K, so make sure you get your friends to subscribe. Just send a link, honestly. It takes a second to just be like, hey, this is a growing YouTube channel. You want to shoot a quick little look on this channel. It's never a bad thing. So it is a 7-0 score. Sorry, guys, for the scoreboard that's frozen, but it is 7-0 final. And I really do appreciate you guys. So thank you so much. As I said, subscribe, like, comment, promo code THPN. And Canada, Czechia, stay on the channel. Nate Thomas will be streaming for Canada, Czechia on this channel. And yeah, look out for Hot Take Hockey stuff as well coming up. I do really appreciate the support. But as I said at the end here, make sure you're always supporting THPN. All right? Promo code THPN. Always. Promo code THPN. Promo code THPN. THPN. Have a great night, guys. This is John from Hot Take Hockey. THPN. Peace out.